Hi everyone, we're Group 3. Today we're going to talk about the case study on General Motors Company. General Motors is an automotive manufacturing company with headquarters in Detroit, Michigan, which has four core brands: Buick, Chevrolet, Cadillac, and GMC. The company provides global service across 6 continents and 22 time zones, and with more than 155,000 employees who speak 75 languages. And its goal is to deliver world-class customer experience at every touchpoint, and do so on a foundation of trust and transparency. However, GM Company was facing a problem in these years. The sales and revenues decreased year by year, and annual net income also dropped from $7,960 million in 2018 to $6,247 million in 2020. So in this part, I will use some measurements to analyze the financial condition of GM. First, current ratio is an indicator of the liquidity of a company. Even though the current ratio improves, it is still lower than the competitors, Ford Motors and Tesla. Also, it is below the standard of good current ratio, which is between 1.2 to 2. The relatively low current ratio shows that it is hard for GM to cover its short-term liabilities with its current asset, representing a higher risk of default or distress. Second, the profit margin, which reflects the profitability of a company. The profit margin dropped at the beginning of 2020, which demonstrates that General Motors Company could gain less profit per automobile sold, which is not a good indicator for the performance of the company. The third one is the debt-to-asset ratio, which is an indicator for the solvency of a company. Despite ratio lowered slightly from 2019 to 2020, it was still so high that it was far above the normal ratio, which is 30% to 60%. The high debt-to-asset ratio accounts for the high risk of company operations, and it will lead to the increasing difficulty for General Motors Company to borrow money. Therefore, the General Motors Company should pay attention to the solvency in order to improve the flexibility. The last important indicator is the degree of operating leverage, which equals to the contribution margin divided by operating income, and it can be also calculated as the percentage change in earnings before interest and taxes divided by the percentage change in sales. The degrees of operating leverage are both negative for 2019 and 2020, which means that the fixed cost has a greater portion in the total cost structure of GM, and there is a decrease in sales for these years. So from this indicator, we can see there is lower stability, and if GM wants to stable its income and performance, it may reduce the fixed cost. So now let's move on to the next part.
Now I will talk about the reasons for profit decline. The first reason is chip shortage, and this occurs since 2020. It is expected that the chip shortage can cost the industry by $210 billion in revenue. This is caused by various factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic, the trade war between the US and China, and the Taiwan manufacturing problem. And the semiconductor chip is an essential component of car production. It has many functions such as emergency braking system, power steering, and electrification. General Motors outsources chips from the suppliers to produce cars and therefore needs an adequate supply of chips to maintain the production. The chip shortage interrupts its production and forces the company to stop parts of its factory production. For example, General Motors have to shut down 6 North American plants for 2 weeks in September and also 4 plants in the United States due to the shortage. This has caused the company to suffer from decrease in sales and profit, which is 25% decrease from a year earlier and cost about $26.8 billion. Also, the second reason is keen competition. The automobile market is facing the problem of overcapacity. The General Motors only in the United States markets has faced competitors like Ford and Toyota Motor. Although it has 70% market share in its market, but the competitors like Toyota is developing quickly and the General Motors have to face a more complex business environment. And also the electrical cars are one of the major threats of the company. As the market of electric cars is developing quickly in recent years, the sales has risen from 70,000 to 7.2 million in only 10 years. Due to the technology improves and it is more environmental friendly, the customers are more welcome to electrical cars. Therefore, the electric cars are more competitive in the market and become a major problem of General Motors in the future. Now I will pass the time to Anthony.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm Anthony. So I'm going to talk about the current solution of the General Motor. So the General Motor is going to conduct a few alternatives to raise the profit and increase the salary. They plan out the production of the pickup vehicle in the North America and increase the production line efficiency, as well as increasing the supply chain and the merchandising efficiency of the facility. Therefore, according to the CNBC, they would like to increase the production of the largest and the middle-sized pickup vehicle. So there is we analyzed two alternatives by CVP analysis. The first alternative is to increase the production of the full-size pickup vehicle by 1,000 per month. The second alternative is to increase the production of the middle-sized pickup vehicle by 30,000 during a period of the 3 months. As the table shows that the first solution may be more suitable for resolving the issue as the present. So the second alternative may result in a financial disaster due to the size of the budget and the relevant costs. Additionally, GM does not have the enough cash flow to produce so many vehicles, and their liability are extremely significant to consider this decision making. In fact, it cannot ensure that the 15,000 vehicle could sold out at the short term during the uncertainty market, especially General Motors face the high competition in the automobile industry. That is also has an advantage and disadvantage. As for the advantage, the revenue could enhance in the North American as the shown customer demanding from this location. Moreover, it may get a better volume discount on the raw material, which could significantly reduce the production costs. In terms of the first disadvantage, the labor cost may increase as they pay overtime or the extra salary for the workers to keep up with the demand of the vehicle. The second disadvantage is quality issue. May not have the well controlled because there is the largest number of the merchandising order, and it may not always possible to ensure that each production is on the same quality. Thank you, and I will pass to my groupmate to talk about second solution.
Thank you. I'm Holly, and I'm going to talk about another current solution of General Motor Company. The GM company plans to double his annual revenue and expand margins to 12 to 14% by 2030. Therefore, some solutions are good that are combining GM's hardware and software platform and producing new electric vehicles. And here is the comparative income approach of the solution. We can see that the net operating income would increase around 14.4 billion. And for the balanced scorecard of GM is maintaining his ability to change and improve by producing products using their advanced technology, such as combining their software and hardware platform and producing new EVs. The improved product of GM will become more innovative and higher quality than before, and the customer satisfaction would be enhanced since they recognize that the product are having higher quality, and customer will be very satisfied with them. So the number of customers will increase. Therefore, the profit of GM will increase due to the number of customer increase, which brings GM's financial performance improved. About the impact on short-term and long-term profit. For the short-term profit, it will decrease, since GM wants to produce a new perfect product by combining his hardware and software platforms. Therefore, GM must invest large costs to do the development of the technological products. But then, it takes time for new product to gain the trust and support of customers. So in the short term, the sales volume of the product is hard to catch up with the cost that company given to support the production and the launch of new products. Therefore, the short-term profit would decrease after carrying out the solution. But for the long-term profit, it would increase, since the company have combining his hardware and software platform for the new EVs. This plan can unlock growth in EVs through the Ultium hardware platform and leadership in software and service through the platform. And the long-term benefit of this is the revenue of GM will increase. Besides, company using their technological to improve the diversification of the products. This brings the enhancing of customer satisfaction. Therefore, there will have revenue growth due to the increase in the number of customers. Furthermore, when GM produces the innovative and high-tech product, it will have market-leading position in the future. This position will benefit the long-term profit of the GM company. And now I'll pass the time to my classmate to talk about the solution and suggestions.
So the first point here is about the current pricing methodology at GM. GM uses physical property clinic. PPC is letting the participant compare the target vehicle with several competitive products. And after comparing, they will finish an exercise to assess the value of this target vehicle. And GM can have a basic and reasonable estimate of the market to determine the manufacturer suggested retail price. And after GM gets the result from the clinic, their financial and the marketing segment will extrapolate the result to reflect the whole company. And financing and the marketing segment will try to find out the price that mostly balance the external market and the internal production. And this current pricing method has both advantages and disadvantages. So GM has opportunity to interact closely with the participants. The data connected from the clinic are quite rich and capture detailed consumer preference very accurately. It also combines the hard work from the financial and the marketing segment to achieve the most effective market and internal production. However, there are still some disadvantages due to the clinic has a lot of steps need to follow. The whole collection of data is not only quite expensive, but still time-consuming and limited the size of data set, with about 200 to 350 consumers in a typical clinic. Moreover, participants in a clinic only compare a target vehicle with about 6 or 7 other vehicles from a vehicle segment that can have as many as 15 or more vehicles. So such a small comparison set may not accurately capture the interdependency among all relevant vehicles. And since a clinic is organized to determine a price for a particular vehicle, it is often difficult to use such data to coordinate the pricing strategy across the entire GM product portfolio. And to allow for coordination across products, we must understand the relationship among prices of all vehicles, specifically how a change in the price of one vehicle affects the demand for all others. So I will pass it to my group.
We also provide our own solution about how to deal with the dilemma faced by GM company by applying the cost plus pricing method in the price decision. According to cost plus pricing method, selling price equals to cost times one plus markup percentage, and the markup percentage equals to required return on investment times investment, plus total expenses over unit sales times unit product cost. Cost plus pricing's advantage is it takes very few data and resources, which means the GM company could save a lot of research costs, both time and money. In addition, this method is more transparent and stable, which could easily explain price changing and easier for managers to commute. However, it also has disadvantages that it requires little market research and it is inefficient. According to their company financial reports, GM company's car sales is continuously declining after 2016, and its revenue is also remaining a downward trend, falling from $149 billion to $122 billion. According to Lopez, GM company's average selling price up 7% year over year. In this way, increased price is a feasible way to increase revenue. Our assumption is 10,000 unit Chevrolet products 1 year, invest 40,000 million in products and require 20% return on investment. Then we can calculate the result by cost plus pricing. Under cost plus pricing, GM company could increase the price through raising the number of investments or increase their require of return on investment. However, GM company needs to calculate their company's sensitivity to change in price to test whether it is feasible. In conclusion, cost plus pricing method itself can reduce the research cost, and increasing selling price may contribute to increased revenue, which needs further calculation. Let's turn to the conclusion page.
So in this case study of GM, we actually identified the problem of decreasing sales and net income of the company through several financial analyses and point out some problem behind. We got to know the current solutions already conducted by the company and determine their rationality. Finally, we provided our own solutions of pricing to help solve the problem. So that's all for our case study presentation. Thank you.